My name is Dean Goishi. I was born in Poston, Arizona, which was one of the 10 relocation camps for Japanese Americans during World War II. The first real recollections I have was moving into Reedley, California, and grew up in Reedley. My parents were both farm laborers, so it was not a you might say, financially rewarding life. The only thing that I really look back on during that whole time was I was really naive in the sense of gay issues. And I have to look at it from that standpoint because of what I know now. I love to dance in the obon. Every summer, I would get up, only boy, but I would dance away because I loved it. And it wasn't until I was a teenager that we decided that we were going to dance in the Fresno Obon. Fresno Obon had a costume contest. And of course, me and my mom got together and she got her kimonos out and I dressed up and made a wig with yarn into pigtails. And that first, I think that was where I really got it in the sense of they did not know who I was. So they gave out all the awards and I was taking my pigtails off. And it just happened that I think one of the judges either was walking by or sat where my folks were, but then he realized that I just completely fooled them all. And I had made a wonderful girl dancer. And that's really the first inkling that I have as an adult that was odd. That probably should not have happened as such. I first met Tak, because I met Tak first, at a bar called Moogie's. It was one of the maybe there were two Asian-focused gay bars. And that's where I met most of my friends. Tak is the one that said, you know, when we're gonna have a organizing meeting and we want gay folks, gay Asians to come to that meeting. You know, APLG really was unlike many others in the Asian community. Very ignorant, did not want to focus on an illness, especially one that led to death. I think we were more or less blocking it out. It was not something that concerned us. We did not see Asian statistics that Asians were infected with HIV. I think in my understanding, I believe that Asians, because I was told that Asians were immune to the disease because of something in our blood. The intervention team began because a group of us, my friends, Tak, Roy, Doug Chen, and myself, and a couple of other, like Andy Che, decided that we were seeing enough of the illness in our community. So the group of us started to meet in our living rooms as far as trying to figure out what we were going to do. One of them was we wanted to go to the mainstream organizations to go to their workshops so that we can bring back to our group how to deal with it. We also wanted to deal better with how do we deal with bereavement. And that was one of the first workshops that we decided to focus in on is how do we help ourselves or help our friends to deal with the dying issues?
A lot of us are probably alive. A lot of us gay Asian men are probably alive because of his leadership, because of him sticking his neck out. because of him breaking the silence and encouraging that, breaking that stigma and discussing this really ugly death sentence for many folks back in the early 80s, in the 80s, early 90s.
I think the time that APIT became its own entity was around 1991, because we were responding to an RFP that the state of California AIDS office had or was about to be released, where they would make funds available to gay men communities. And we felt that we had enough information there to write a very good proposal to get funding. And it was a sizable dollar amount. And that's where I think, once again, Sally Zhu was brought in to be an outside consultant for APLG steering committee and us on how we can make this happen and what would be the best way to make it happen on a friendly term. So it was decided that after her intervention that we should split. And in that instance, AIT became Asian Pacific AIDS Intervention Team. I became director, a paid director of APIT in 1992 when we came over to SSG with funding from the state of California AIDS office. Up to that time, I was an unpaid director. So I think the accomplishments of APIT was, one, we were able to hire the largest openly gay and lesbian staff here in LA, in Southern California. I think we hired a HIV positive gay man openly in one of our men's outreach programs. I thought that was something that we need to do from a credibility standpoint, because if you don't have gay positive people, then what are you? We had the first transgender prevention outreach program in LA, even before the particular mainstream AIDS agencies had. And that was our Bionic Women's Campaign with Jordan Bauza. She helped to solidify a transgender program and bring in transgenders to our program as both staff and volunteers. We also had billboards and bus stops where we saw Asian faces in their languages talking about HIV and AIDS. And we were very successful in that. Prior to leaving APIT, I really tried to provide an environment here that would help the new director. Like, for instance, making sure that there is a minimum, at least 6 months worth of funding in our bank accounts that would provide the interim for that person to get up and running as far as going after funding for APIT, as well as trying to solidify the board, company board advisors situation, and making sure that the programs were left in the hands of competent people so that their programs would continue on. So I kind of think that was established when I left here.